So when you have these patients of ALS, that is the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, we must know that there are certain factors that are contributing towards the development of this certain condition that we are looking at. We are looking at a patient who is not able to perform the voluntary muscles activities. For instance, he's not able to perform the activity of swallowing, or either he's not able to perform the daily activities of his routine life. For instance, as we even saw in our case study of Clinton, he belonged to this certain age group that we're talking about. He lies between the certain category of 40 to 70 years. He's not able to perform the daily activities, and as well as he's suffering from extreme muscular weakness, fatigue. He's certainly, his condition is certainly deteriorating with the passage of time, as he's not even able to raise his hand to a certain level. Dysphagia and hoarseness of voice were the primary signs and symptoms that we saw in case of Clinton. So what can be the factors that were contributing towards the development of this certain pathological process of the motor neuron disease in the individual? If you recall your basic anatomical knowledge regarding the spinal cord, when we look at the cut section of a spinal cord, we are looking at basically a centrally placed butterfly-shaped gray matter, which has anterior horns as well as dorsal horns. The anterior horns are responsible for innervating the muscles and performing the voluntary activities in this particular case. And then we have a white matter which is surrounding the gray matter. So if you have this basic knowledge, you must know that what can be the factors that are basically damaging the nerve cells of the anterior horn. And over here, when I say that the motor neurons are damaged in the anterior horn, basically the cell bodies are damaged. There are certain factors that we'd be even focusing on when we are taking the history from any patient, may it be Clinton or may it be any other patient in whom we are suspecting that it might be a case of ALS, the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. We'd be trying to know what were the factors in that particular case. Namely, we have a lot of factors. We can group them into two major categories. We can group them into the exogenous category and then the endogenous category. As the name is indicating, exogenous is basically referring to the environmental factors that are contributing towards the development of this particular disease. So we can mainly have toxins that are contributing towards it, or certain viral loads can even contribute towards the effect on the anterior horns of the spinal cord. Then we have the metals, and certain overload of the metals can even result in the damage to the anterior horn cells. So these are the major exogenous factors contributing towards the damage of the anterior horn cells. And then we have the genetic factors. Predominantly, we have the SOD1, alsin, and synataxin may be affected, and it might be a genetic risk factor. Now, the familial risk factor, when we are looking at the patients, almost 5 to 10% of the cases are inherited. Almost 50% of the cases, there are almost 50% chances of developing the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis in patients who have a history in the family of this particular disease, that is the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So if a patient tells you that one of his siblings or there is some sort of a parental incidence of this particular disease, then there are almost 50% chances that the individual might contract or might develop this condition of the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So the genetic component is very important. So you'd be taking the family history in detail. You would be taking the occupational history. As I said, that certain masses or certain cluster of the populations are more prone because they have this certain environment in which they're exposed to certain exogenous factors, they're exposed to certain toxins, or stress is one of the factors. They're exposed to viral loads, and they're also affected. Basically, people or farmers who are working in the agricultural industry, they can be exposed to the different metallic poisons in their environment, and that can lead to the development of this particular kind of a condition. And that is why occupational history is very important in this particular case of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. If you are suspecting that a certain patient might be suffering from it, you're going to take the occupational history, you're going to take the past history, drug history, genetic history, as well as familial history. And obviously the socioeconomic history are taken into account. So these are the major key points in the history in which you're going to rule out that what can be the precipitating factors in case of the development of ALS. So the microglial cells, we know that we have, apart from the neurons, we have a lot of neuroglial cells. For instance, we have astrocytes, we have the microglial cells, and they're basically the supporting neuronal cells that are present in the central nervous system. And the microglial cells can be also affected in this particular case. And then we can have the mitochondrial dysfunctions, which can obviously again damage the motor neurons. The abnormal protein aggregation is one of the mechanism. Impaired axonal transports can even lead to the damage of the soma of the motor neurons. Then we have the oxidative stress. Obviously, a lot of metallic poisonings can lead to this kind of an oxidative stress in the individuals. Then we have the neuroinflammation. So a lot of viruses can lead to the damage of the motor neurons, and these inflammatory processes can basically lead to the neuronal death. All of these processes, either if they are present alone or if they are grouped together with certain other kind of underlying pathological processes, they can lead to the cell death, which is known as apoptosis. So this is the basic etiology, or this is the these are the basic factors which are leading to the cell death, the motor neuronal cell death, in case of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Now, when we just compare a normal spinal motor neuron with a motor neuron which is injured in cases of the ALS, the astrocytes can be involved in this process. There is an impaired glutamate uptake, and which is leading to the excitotoxicity. So the hypertoxicity is one of the mechanisms which is leading to the development of ALS. Then we can have a mitochondrial dysfunction, protein aggregation, some sort of RNA toxicity. For instance, there can be some sort of an abnormal protein development, which is leading to the damage to the neuronal cell body. We can have the oxidative stress, which is again leading to the damage to the certain areas of the motor neurons. Then the predominant M1 toxic glial activational states. So the microglia and the astrocytes are basically contributing towards the damage which is occurring in the cases of ALS. And the third process which can lead to the damage of the motor neurons is the inflammatory processes. So by now we know that what are the certain pathological processes which are leading to the development of the signs and symptoms in the ALS, the underlying pathogenesis, and which are basically becoming the grounds of the motor neuronal damage in the anterior horn cells. Synaptic failure is one of the pathological processes that can occur in this case. Obviously, the synapses are again unable to transfer the messages or conduct the signals in the peripheral nervous system. As we discussed, it's not only the spinal cord or it's not only the higher centers that are involved in cases of ALS. It's even the peripheral nervous system. So the conduction of the neurons is also going to be affected in cases of ALS. And this has also this is basically also taken into account over here. Then obviously the atrophy of the muscles. When there is a lack of signaling to the target tissues, the muscular atrophy is also going to occur. And as I said, the name amyotrophic is basically referring to the fact that it's not only the nerves that are getting damaged, it's even the muscles that are being atrophied due to the lack of signals. So this is the whole pathogenesis in case of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. You have to remember the basic underlying pathological events and what are the factors that are basically leading to the development of this whole cascade of events that is occurring in cases of ALS.